a Cy Young blockbuster, the Skubal trade that would shake all of Major League Baseball. Jim Bowden at The Athletic dropped a list of trades that he would like to see. Not what's happening, but scenarios that could explode the offseason. And at the very top, a Dodgers mega deal. The Tigers would send Tarik Skubal, and the Dodgers would return to the Tigers Tyler Glasnow, Emmett Sheehan, and Sahir Hope. You look at that trade, and Travis, I feel that's a win-win for both franchises.
What are we waiting for? I mean,
right?
Let's if that's all it takes. I thought you're going to have to give up half of Dodger Stadium and the Hollywood sign and the Santa Monica Pier. Great, let's go. It's just a couple of pitchers and a guy that's never even played in the big leagues. Yeah, I'm down. Let's do it. This is how good Tarik Skubal is. He is a back-to-back Cy Young Award-winning pitcher. He hasn't turned 30 years old yet. He's unbelievably competitive. He's been very durable to this part of his career. These guys don't come available particularly often. And when they do, you usually have to pay through the nose to get them. Now, the Dodgers may still end up doing that anyway. If they got to wait until he hits free agency. But much like with Shohei Ohtani a couple of years ago, don't wait. If you can get it done before they hit free agency, then go do it. Because here's the thing. Tarik Skubal is a 0% variable other than the variable that exists with every player, which is injury, bad luck, things like that. There's no canny, willy, mighty. He is the best pitcher in baseball, or on the very short list with Skeens and Ohtani and the rest of these guys. He's on the list. Emmett Sheehan is really good, but he's just getting started. We're not quite sure what the ceiling is there. Now, it may be very high. I really like Emmett Sheehan. I think he's a really good player, but there is still some, will he hold up? Will he get better? Will he, this, that, and the S thing. So we'll see. Glasnow, we know Glasnow. Glasnow is an ace. He's an ace. He also gets hurt a ton. So that is, you got to give up something to get something. I would hate to see him go, but that's a guy that does have a little bit of a question mark on his resume, which is just his durability. It's not about his ability. It's about his durability. So there's that. And then Sahir Hope, maybe he'll be the next great player in Major League Baseball, or maybe he'll be one of those guys who'll say, hey, whatever happened to Sahir Hope? You just don't know what's going to happen with younger players until they're in the major leagues. I will always, I don't care what the sport is, maybe a little bit in football, but if you're asking me, do you want a guy that's proven it at the highest level or a guy that might be great at the highest level? Give me the guy that's proven it every single time. I would do that deal in a second. If I were the Tigers, I'd tell the Dodgers to pound sand.
Right. Yeah. The logic on this one is that for the Dodgers, Skubal would turn the Dodgers rotation from excellent to terrifying for every team that would face it. Back-to-back Cy Young Award winner, dominant strikeout numbers. Meanwhile, for Detroit, they would say goodbye to their ace, but they would allow to their franchise to receive another frontline starter in Glasnow, a young arm in Sheehan that they could plug in immediately in their rotation, their everyday rotation, and not only whenever there's a player injured in the rotation or whenever they need a spot starter. No, Sheehan would get an everyday opportunity out there in Detroit, and a high ceiling outfielder in hope that they could pair with Riley Green and Zach McKinstry. So I feel that it would be great for them if they look into the future and see themselves in a position like the Los Angeles Angels were in two years ago, where it was like, you know what, we're going to lose Shohei Ohtani. We might as well get something in return, because you look over at Glasnow, he has 3 years left in his deal. You look over at Sheehan, he's under team control for a while. You look over at Hope, this guy hasn't even debuted in Major League Baseball yet. So they would be able to have assets that they can look into the future and say they're going to be a part of our squad, not only for 2026, but beyond. Meanwhile, in Skubal, if you go into 2026 without him signing a contract, every day of the regular season as it advances and as Skubal keeps playing balls to the wall like he has, the price tag for him is going to keep increasing. So I feel that it would be a very smart decision for them to be. And how many teams, Travis, can give the Tigers 2 day one starters, one an ace and another a young player, to be in that rotation in day one? As easy as the Dodgers could be if they are willing to give up Glasnow and Sheehan. I feel that this would be a home run for both organizations. Now, the Tigers, it's tough. We saw it with Ohtani and the Angels. It's tough to give up stars of this caliber, and especially to the best team in baseball.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot there. I like all of this. Let's kind of go through it point by point. Number one, the advantage that the Dodgers have is exactly what you just said. The Dodgers can actually offer some real value going back the other way. No one else is trading a Tyler Glasnow. You work your entire career to get your hands on a player like that, and he is a guy like, yeah, you can have him. We got more. Only the Dodgers have a surplus at that position that you could afford to offer another great player like that in that situation. Emmett Sheehan is another perfect example. The Dodgers, Emmett Sheehan is not only a regular starting pitcher on every other team in the baseball, he might be near the top of most teams' rotation, and the Dodgers may not have a place to use him. So this is one of the things that they have where they can offer real value going out to get things back in. It's not just the ability to pay guys, which they have. It's the ability to offer somebody something that wants something other than money to get another player to come here. That's number one. Number two, good job on saying LA Angels, because that does not roll off the tongue. That's very hard to do. I still call them the Anaheim Angels. So good job on you there. All right, Dodger fans, listen to this. This is the part that you might not like. This is exactly why there needs to be some salary structure in Major League Baseball. Because if the Tigers can't keep one of the best players in baseball because he's going to price himself out of the market, what are we doing here? Right? These teams have to be able to hold on to their best guys. Now, we could argue until the cows come home about can they actually afford it or not. I would argue that they can, and they have just chose not to do it. But this is one of the Skubal should stay in Detroit. Skeen should stay in Pittsburgh. These guys should stay where they are. This makes the sport more healthy. It makes the fans in those places more interested in their teams, as opposed to thinking, well, I wonder how long until the Dodgers or Yankees get one of these guys. That's not great for the sport. It's great for us as Dodger fans because we get our hands on really good players, but it's not necessarily great for the health of the sport. I love it. Look, as good as these other guys may be, they're not Skubal. Skubal is a very short list guy. He's a guy that I think you do just about anything to get your hands on, including maybe going a little farther than you might be comfortable with. I like your example of the Angels. The Tigers need, if they can't get something done sooner than later, now maybe you can make the argument they go into the season and they see, like, Tigers were a pretty good team last year, right? They were in the playoff mix the entire season long. And maybe they're like, look, that's worth it. If he walks out the door, he walks out the door. We'll deal with it when we deal with it. But if they don't think that they got a chance, they would be derelict in their responsibilities not to move him, because what he could bring back could stock your roster at the big league level for years to come. So if they get off to a bad start, or if they realize they are miles apart in a salary negotiation, I think it's pretty likely he moves.
Yeah, and last season, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he didn't sign his contract until after opening day, so the possibility is still open for something to happen after the season start. But for the Dodgers, man, could you imagine this, Travis? A rotation of Skubal, Yamamoto, Snell, Sasaki, and a guy by the name of Shohei Ohtani. That would be just crazy. That would be ridiculous video game stuff that we're talking about right there. So the bottom line, the rumor, it's fun. The fit makes sense. The thing is, the price would probably be even bigger than this that is being suggested by The Athletic. But if Friedman wakes up and decides he wants to end all of other national team league pitching conversations, well, heck, all of Major League Baseball rotation history conversations, this is the move to make.
No brainer. I mean, it is. That's one of those. You say yes, you get the paperwork done, you do it, you stop talking. It's, sales 101. When you get the order, stop talking. Say, great, here's the paperwork, sign it, get it done.
2 years of Shohei, the moment that changed everything. December 9th will always mean something special for every Dodgers fan in the world and everybody who joined the bandwagon, because 2 years ago, Shohei Ohtani stood in front of the baseball world, and with a simple Instagram post, he flipped the script of the sport forever. He was becoming a Los Angeles Dodger. And Travis, you and I were in the sports media world. We've been in it, you for nearly 3 decades, me for nearly 2 decades. And it has been evolving how announcements are made. And most recently, it's been like amazingly produced videos or a graphic that you're like, wow, how did they make this to make an announcement? Shohei Ohtani, in the most Shohei Ohtani way, he just posted a logo of the LA Dodgers that he probably found in Google Images and said, I'm joining the Dodgers.
Yeah, it was, you know, I don't want to be too hyperbolic here because that's not really my deal, but it has to be one of the most important moments in the history of the LA Dodgers. And this is not, you know, with all due respect, this is not the Colorado Rockies. This is a team that has been around for a really long time, had some incredible players, had some incredibly high highs, had some legends of the game come through here. And this is right near the top of the list. It changed a lot of things. You know, they've gone 2 for 2. I know we're going to spend some time on this tomorrow's Locked on Dodgers episode, breaking it down in a little more detail, and the everydayers will certainly get a chance to hear that. But what struck me about the actual announcement itself, Harry, was A, the simplicity, like you mentioned, just here's where I'm going, you know, see you soon kind of thing. And B, think about this. Think about how rare it is for all of us to really not have an idea of what's going to happen next. We could guess, we could maybe lean one way or the other, but usually somebody's got a scoop. Usually somebody in the know is saying, guys, this is what's happening. This is where he's going. This is what the terms are going to look like. And more often than not, it's usually right. Andrew Friedman, you know, all the TikToks that come out, not TikTok, the app, but like the minute by minute, the way that it goes. It was about Andrew Friedman's at his daughter's soccer game. He has no idea what's coming. His phone rings and nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. Even the Dodgers were optimistic that they were going to get him, but they had not been given any sort of guarantees that this was going to go. I think it speaks to Shohei's celebrity that he can keep this as close hold as he can without it getting out. I think it speaks to how tight his circle actually is. I don't think there's a lot of people in it that know what's going on. And then, of course, the whole meltdown about the guy from Shark Tank being on a plane to Toronto. That turns out it was him and not Shohei Ohtani. It had a little bit of humor in it. It was just unbelievable. And just the roller coaster that we as Dodger fans were on, like, he really is going to Toronto? Like, what an odd choice. What a strange place for him to decide to go to. And then all of a sudden, he's not on that plane. Everybody's back in the game. It's like, all right, here we go. We got a chance all over again. And then shortly thereafter, he makes his decision. It was stressful. It was awesome. I think that he made the right call, clearly, not just for Dodger fans, but for himself. And we're just getting started on this. It's incredible.
And it was a situation where it was like, okay, Shohei might break the $400 million barrier. It sounds like it's going to be $500 million now. Will it really be 600? And then out of nowhere, the announcement happens and the reports start coming out. This dude actually signed a $700 million contract for 10 years, and everybody's mind was blown because it's like, this is double what everybody was projecting. And it's like, and 2 years in, it has been worth those $700 million and even more, because his first year, his presentation for the boys in blue, it's like, guys, I'm so sorry, Dodgers fans. I'm not going to be able to pitch this year, but I'm going to do something that has never been done. He opened the 50-50 club. He hit over 50 home runs. He stole over 50 bases. And then the next year, oh, okay, now I can pitch. Here's another 50-50 club. I'm going to hit 50-plus home runs again, and I'm going to strike out 50-plus guys as well up from the mound. It's just been mind-blowing what Shohei Ohtani has done. And what for what you said, Travis, this is a franchise-altering moment, because you look at the Dodgers before Shohei Ohtani with Dave Roberts, with Mookie Betts, with Freddie Freeman, with the pieces that they've had. It's like, okay, cool. We are not only contenders for the division, we're contenders for the World Series every year. But it seems like they had found a roadblock that they couldn't go over. But then Shohei Ohtani arrives and we're 2 for 2. We're back-to-back World Series champions, and the end isn't near. It's like every year it's like, okay, we are going to win the World Series. And if we don't win the World Series, it's a disappointment just because you got Shohei Ohtani in your franchise to complement everybody else.
Yeah, like you said, and a big part of that, the window being open for as long as it's going to be open, is because he's insisting on it. This was not I'll take your 700 million, thank you, and I'll go hit my home runs and strike out my guys. This was I'll take your 700 million, but I'm going to let you pay me over a long period of time. And in the meantime, take that money that you're not paying me and go get other great players now, today, go do it. And they did. They went out and they get Yamamoto. And then the next year they go out and they get Blake Snell. And I expect them to continue to be incredibly aggressive, knowing that they have the ability to spend Shohei's money because they don't have to give it to Shohei yet. And that was part of the agreement. So not only did he get a great deal, but it was also one of those things that allowed them to continue to get more great players. That's number one. Number two is, and this is not revisionist history. I wasn't doing Locked on Dodgers there, but I was on my radio show every day saying this. They got a steal at $700 million. He gave them a discount at $700 million. He's the best pitcher in baseball, arguably, right? Okay, what's the best pitcher in baseball get? He gets about $40 or $45 million a year. Okay, he is the best slugger or number two behind Aaron Judge in baseball. What does the best slugger in baseball get? He gets about $40 or $45 million a year. What do those two things add up? Somewhere between $80 and $90 million a year. That should be an $800 or a $900 million contract, not $7. Like, I've never understood why this wouldn't be I do this and I do this. Why would you not pay me for both of these things? If you want me just to be a slugger like Guerrero or Juan Soto, fine. I'll take the $600 million, but I'm not going to pitch for you. If you want both, pay for both. And they did, but quite frankly, it was at a discount. It's remarkable that they got him at the price they did, and they've already made back every last penny and then some. It just, deals don't get any better than this.
No doubt about it. And for the Dodgers, it wasn't just receiving a player who is incredible on the mound. It's talking about an icon worldwide for the sport of baseball. It's one of those players that people, even if you don't follow the sport, you say Ohtani and it's like, oh, I know who Shohei is. It's somewhere where it's like, I don't watch baseball, but wearing a number 17 jersey that says Ohtani in the back, that's something cool to do. That's the type of player where, for example, Travis, you and I, we wear a lot of Dodgers gear. We have our jerseys, but there's also personalized player gear that sometimes doesn't even have the team's name, and it's cool for fans to wear. And that's the type of player that Shohei Ohtani is. Heck, the Dodgers started the season off in South Korea, then in Japan, and Major League Baseball wants to keep taking them internationally because it keeps growing the sport. And there's not many. It's a handful of players that you could potentially say this is the kind of guy. Because in basketball, yes, you have multiple guys that you can take on a trip to Asia, and they're going to have droves of people just running around trying to get a glimpse of the player, not even get a photo or an autograph, just to look at him and say, I saw him in person. Shohei Ohtani, that's the type of guy that is definitely one of those that it's like, hey, man, this is baseball is changing for baseball the way that it is. And I'm so glad that he's a Dodger. And yes, like you said, we're going to have a special episode soon here on Locked on Dodgers that is going to be completely about Shohei Ohtani. But for now, we're celebrating. It's the 2-year anniversary from that post. I remember being in a radio studio the moment that happened, and I was mind blown with how simple it was and how nobody had leaked anything. It was fantastic. But we're going to go from the Dodgers making the splashes 2 years ago to now Dave Roberts says the Dodgers don't need a big splash. Coming up on Locked on Dodgers, is that confidence or complacency? Don't forget to follow Locked on Dodgers, not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, and TikTok as well. You can find Travis on social media at Travis Rogers on X and Instagram. Meanwhile, I'm at Harry Ruiz on X, at Harry_Ruiz on Instagram, and at Harry Ruiz_ on TikTok. No big splash? Dave Roberts doubles down. Winter meetings are underway right now. Rumors are everywhere. Fans are refreshing their phones every 3 minutes to see if something pops up. And Dave Roberts steps up to the mic and says, there's no big splash needed. Here's what Doc said.
I was actually just talking to Andrew and Gomer recently, and we're very confident with where the roster is at right now. On the pitching side, the positional player side. Obviously, there's opportunities and potential opportunities to upgrade the roster, and we're always kind of looking to do that. But there's really no big splash we feel needs to be made, because this team is still focused, and you know, there's some talk about a three-peat. So this is a focused team.
Three-peat. They ain't scared about talking about it, but that tells you everything. The Dodgers, they aren't thinking, let's win the division. They're thinking best in baseball again and again. And Roberts is sending a message right there. They don't feel desperate. The roster is loaded, and they're not going to panic to buy a guy. And I feel, Travis, if a big splash happens, it happens cool, but this team isn't hunting for it.
No, I like what you said, Harry. I think that them saying the words three-peat out loud are really good. I don't think this is something that you run from. I think this is something that you have to throw your arms around and embrace and say, yeah, of course we're going for it. We want to be the first team since the Yankees and everything else. So I like just the matter-of-fact nature that he mentioned that with. Do they need to do it? Of course not. You know, they have a roster that is still going to be probably the best roster in baseball by the time we get to spring training. Doesn't mean they don't want to. You know, it doesn't mean that they won't listen. It doesn't mean that they won't be aggressive in kicking tires other places, you know, and this kind of brings me to the last thing. Like, a lot of this is these guys playing poker, right? They're not going to tell you exactly what it is that they've got going on. They're going to slow play it. They're going to see what the table has to offer, what the bets look like, what the pricing is, and everything else. So I don't think this is rarely true, but I think it is true in this case. They can go either way and they're fine. You know, usually it's like that you can say one thing, but it's, yeah, we kind of know you need a left fielder or a relief pitcher or a big bat in the middle of the order. It's like you kind of have to go do that. The Dodgers could literally run this back and be the favorites to win the World Series. They could also go out there and add an Edwin Diaz or a Cody Bellinger or whoever else and be the favorites to win the World Series. That they've got the two-way go, which is so rare to do it, which is why it's so much fun to be a Dodger fan right now, because they have young players that are on their way up that can fill holes. They've got a wallet that can fill holes instantly. They've got a really smart guy at the helm of the checkbook that can do it, that's making these player decisions. So, you know, they're just in a great spot. They're a two-time champion that has resources and assets and ambition. And this is the best part of all. If anybody has watched this team or heard Dave Roberts or listened to Andrew Friedman, they're not complacent. They are going to go. This goes back to what we were talking about with Ohtani. Ohtani doesn't want one or two of these things. Ohtani wants to be one of those guys that, you know, when it's all said, there's no doubt it's Shohei Ohtani. He's the greatest player of all time. I think he's probably there already, but he wants to put this thing so far out of reach that it's not kind of like a Tom Brady situation where this is stupid. What are we even talking about here? It's him. And I think that the Dodgers understand that. I think they want the same thing.
Yeah, and saying that we don't need a splash is fine, but there's a question every fan is thinking. Is this confidence, or are they playing it safe? Because we've seen big swings by this franchise. They've traded for Mookie Betts. They've traded for Tyler Glasnow. They've signed Freddie Freeman, Yamamoto, and then the big splash last year, Travis, that I feel we didn't expect. Blake Snell, where did that come from? Nobody was talking about it. They probably didn't need him, but look at that. Game 7 of the World Series. He was right there, and he was a key for this team to win it all.
That is a perfect example, Harry, that when they signed Blake Snell, I don't think anybody was going into the offseason saying, you know, the Dodgers really need an ace left-hander. They need to go out there and get, you know, Snell's available. They should go do it. It was one of those, wait, the Dodgers got Blake Snell? Wow. And they got him at a price that was reasonable. I mean, it's a ton of money, don't get me wrong, but in baseball terms, it wasn't like they blew the market away and went to a place where, okay, well, no one's going to do that. This wasn't a Xander Bogaerts in San Diego deal where everybody went, they did what? It wasn't that at all. It's like, oh man, they got Blake Snell, and wait, they did it for that amount of money? He decided to do that. And it speaks to his desire to be in LA. It speaks to his desire to be back reunited with Andrew Friedman. They were together in Tampa. I think that he wanted to be on a team that could compete for a World Series, which he ultimately did. And, you know, I think you're exactly right. That's a perfect example of that is an incredible splash that no one saw coming. And if they did it again, it'd be a pleasant surprise, but it wouldn't be a knock you out of your chair surprise.